What up, my people? RC Rollers with another prediction. As the month of May ends, we had great fights. We had some tune-up fights that became great fights. We saw the demolishing of a face. And, of course, me almost losing all my predictions. All of them. Just because I decided to go either by knockouts or decisions, or choosing the wrong guy, the right guy, the wrong guy. Well, as the month of May ends, we have two last good fights. Well, one for sure might be a little bit of a war. The other one might be a test. How about that? A test. I'm not gonna call them boring. I'm gonna call it a test. Let's talk about the first one. Now, one last thing. I might not give you a I might give you a recap, but it's not gonna be more like a detailed one because I will be at a party. So I probably, if I catch it, it's gonna be on my phone and I'm gonna be distracted. So if I watch it, cool. If I don't watch it, I'm still gonna tell you who won. But again, I have not forgotten about all my April predictions, and I'm gonna give you that probably by next week. And this week, let's get it. Let's get it. First, the fight that I want to talk about: Oubaali versus Donaire. That's gonna happen on Showtime tomorrow. Nordane Oubaali, the champion. Nonito Donaire, the 38-year-old challenger with better skills, better resume, definitely a pound for pound fighter in the past. He showed what he can do with Naoya. He brought his A game. Can he do it once more? He hasn't fought. Remember that. He hasn't fought in, what is it, a year, 2 years? So this might be his retirement. If he wins, he might call it quits. If he loses, he might call it quits. If he wins, he goes out in a glory. And if he loses, he had a great career. But him being with the PBC for this fight, and if he wins, they might want to get Casemiro versus the Reagendale winner. Who knows? That's just me throwing ideas. As for Oubaali, the same thing. If he beats him, he beat an old legend, an old great fighter. But that doesn't really push him up somewhere because it's gonna go with the same thing where he's old and he hasn't fought like in a year, 2 years. I forgot how much he hasn't fought. But it should be a great fight. In this particular case, I am a fan of Donaire. And usually when I choose the guy that I like, I end up losing. But I don't care. I'm going to go for Donaire. I'm just going to go with the victory. I don't want to put in a KO or something like that because I feel like if I choose it, I'm going to keep losing and losing. I guess I'm not ready for those things. But yeah, Donaire. I believe Donaire can possibly knock him out. He can possibly late. But Bali's good. Bali's good. It's gonna be a great fight, people. Definitely, I would say it's gonna be the better show of the two. It's just that it's not as popular as the two, as they are the 118 fight, the 118 division. So it's not as great as the other one that might get all the views tomorrow in May 29. So in the Zone app, we have Devin the Dream Haney. Devin, that I'll get dreams out of you, Haney. People call him boring. Me, if you like that style of boxing, you like that style of boxing. If you like brawling, you like brawling. If you like action, you like action. That's his style. You can't really call him boring, but just don't watch him. If you don't like him, don't watch him. All right? Versus Linares, El Niño de Oro from, is he Venezuelan? Venezuelan, I believe. At one point, Linares was one of the main dogs in 135. Before Lomachenko beat him, he moved up. He got knocked out in like 2 rounds. He moved down for one fight, and then he hasn't fought again because he caught COVID and all that. He hasn't fought. Now, I would say this. Linares is still a good fighter. He's not chinny. I hate it when people say he's chinny. You got to remember, he moved up, and that was his third or fourth division moving up when he got knocked out by a journeyman called Cora. I don't see that as Cheney. I just see him that he grew his limit and he couldn't take it up there. So moving down again. Now, Haney, very big 135er. He's been wanting to move up. It's going to be interesting to see what he brings into this fight. It's going to be interesting to see, is he going to go for the knockout and show, or is he going to go for those dominance that he's been doing? Linares ain't no joke either. He has that straight right shot. His straight punches are really, really good. That's what brought Lomachenko to his floor, to the canvas, even though Linares ended up losing by a knockout to the ribcage. Can he throw that laser right to Devin Haney's face and land and maybe drop him? We'll see what he had. We'll see what he can actually do with someone who has really strong ring IQ, with someone who's has a resume and someone who has strong competition. So that's why I said this is a test and it's supposed to be, it's going to be a boring fight and he's just going to coast it. Well, I believe he's not going to coast it. I believe he's going to box intelligently. And I do think Devin Haney possibly could win via TKO because of Linares' face. It gets cut easily. I can see that. Unfortunately, I just see a win by Haney. A unanimous decision win. If he wins by knockout, I can't put excuses, but you could only say Linares hasn't fought for like a year. That's the only thing you can say. We can see if he's rusty or not. We have to see how he knocks him out if he were to win by knockout. But if you can bring an old shot, Eurykis Gamboa down, I don't know, maybe. It's really hard because of the cuts or because of the Cheney problem. All I can say is it can possibly be a good fight because Linares does bring a fight towards his opponents. He's fast, he's good, and he's very, very intelligent in the ring. But people, who do you have if you watch boxing? Who do you guys have this weekend? You got Oubaali versus Donaire. Who do you have winning? I got Donaire. We got Haney versus Linares. Who do you have winning? Linares is strong. He can cause an upset. But you never know. You never know. Now, people, before another division wraps up, like the 140 did, and we know who's the top dog, Josh Taylor. In my future videos, I will be bringing at least once a week a division and rank them. My personal opinion, don't get offended if I do not choose your favorite fighters. It's just the way I see it. We'll be talking about the 118, the 122s, the 126, the 130s, 135s, 140, 147, the 54s, the 60, the 68, the 75, the cruiserweights, no bridgerweight, and the heavyweight division before everything comes to a close, because there's a lot of fighters with 3 belts who are going to join. Charlo, he's going to fight for Undisputed. We got the Pac-Man Spence coming up in August. That might end up becoming a unification match because Pacquiao is a champion in recess, so they might make him full champion again, even though Ugas is the champion because they named him. So I don't know, but you know how the WBA works with the PBC. They love to cookie cut him for them. But we shall see. Now, again, when I told in the beginning this was not a boxing channel, it's just this is the sport that I like. Right now, right after this video, I'm going to give you another one, and it's going to be for soccer because we got 2 finals this weekend. I need to talk about it because that's the sports that I like. Now, people, do like, do comment, do subscribe. Swap!